Now we're going to move on to our second topic now, and actually before we discuss it, we're actually going to go to Andy on line 4 calling from Ottawa, wanting to introduce it for us. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, hello, Christine, and hello, panel. As you know, Christine, I'm an ex-cop, all right? And anyways, when I first heard this morning about the, this poor officer or a soldier in Afghanistan, the first thing that came to my mind was a two-word thing, and it's not what you would think. I was thinking of supine canines, in the DND. All right, now for first-degree murder, that would imply, premeditation. Mm-hmm. All right, second degree is bargained down from, or else it is what it is. A spontaneous premeditation. And is that not what a soldier is all about?
You got a point there, Andy. What we're going to do now is put that article up on the screen for you to have a look at now before we go for our break. And here you have it, Canadian soldier in court on murder charge. Well, you heard from Andy his point of view, and according to this report here, this is really a first of a kind. In a nutshell, you have a situation where we've got a soldier up on charges of second-degree murder, and it stems from an ambush that happened in Afghanistan with a group of about 100, and according to the reports here, the documents, it went like this: that this Taliban fighter was already injured. His rifle was taken away from him. And he was shot. Now, some say he was shot because, hey, it's war. It's a war zone. Next of all, there was an argument made, well, there was no other way. There was no medical facility. There was nothing there, so he was just shot. Now, I wouldn't use that as an argument because I think our regular viewers know where I stand on euthanasia. But the point of the matter is here, we're not looking at a regular, everyday affair. We're looking at a war front that gets bloody. The soldiers are under pressure. Yes, there are standards to follow. And as one individual put it here, a lawyer, that perhaps the situation in Somalia, which was quite glaring, maybe that is what is making this so politicized. But the question is, how do you feel about having one of our soldiers up on second-degree murder charges? Once again, our lines are open. Now, you're free to call in at any time with any of the subject matters that we're addressing today. We don't have a problem going from subject to subject. We want to hear your thoughts. But I'm going to start with you this time on this one, Al. How do you feel about the soldier being charged?
It's such a quagmire. I mean, really what we're debating is the conditions in which you can kill somebody.
On a war front.
Yeah,
on a war front.
I don't even know where to begin.
I don't know either, and that's the problem.
It's so complicated.
It's fire for fire.
How do you and especially with as much information as we got, we don't have a lot of information.
We don't have a lot, no.
It's so complex because we're there.
There's
what
one
are we doing
witness.
there? There's a lot of people that don't want us there. There's a lot of people here that don't even want to be there. I mean, it's so complex. I don't even know where to begin on this one.
And there's one unnamed witness that says he saw what happened. Yeah. We don't even know who this witness is. We don't know the credibility of that witness. How do you feel about it, Paul?
Well, I think there's a difference between a police officer and a soldier. A soldier kills.
Most definitely.
A police officer tries to keep the peace. The problem we run into, the reason we have a person who's charged for killing the enemy, that's his job in a proper situation, he's now being treated as though he's a police officer doing policing services in another country, and he's been put in that role.
Good point.
He should never have been put in that role. A soldier is there to annihilate the enemy, just as the enemy was there to annihilate him. You'll notice no one said, excuse me.
Even more so in the case of the Taliban.
Right. The Taliban isn't exactly pulling Canadian soldiers to the side and saying, excuse me, we're going to arrest you now. They're blowing them up. And just before this alleged incident,
just to give you some idea, okay, the Taliban shot 8 kids to death just for laughing at them. That's the kind of stuff you see the Taliban doing. They behead people, they kill people, they attack people, they rape people, no scruples whatsoever. And I'm not justifying to say, well, because they're so evil, we should go ahead and be that evil. But you're looking at a war front here. We've got one unnamed witness according to this article, and as you rightfully said, Al, we don't know the full, all of the information yet, but it's a war front. And this guy is not a cop, but he's being accused of second-degree murder on a battlefield.
Is it a war front, though, or is it an occupation?
That's the question.
That's the question. Is it a war front or is it an occupation?
Is it not both?
And then you brought up a really good point. I mean, you're going on about the Taliban. I mean, these are embedded reports. I mean, what is truth? I mean, in times of war. The first thing to go is
Taliban's
truth.
known, though, they have a long history. The Taliban has a long history. I mean, there were ancient Buddhist statues up
They
there.
got a lot of history
Yeah, they have a horrible history.
Well,
I mean, I
have a hard
talked to a
time- even
lawyer
today-
that came from Afghanistan.
even today, I've
Yes.
talked to lawyers actually who was drafting up the civil rights and the Constitution. But anyways, in Afghanistan, I mean, the first casualty of war is truth. And that I have a real problem with when every time I hear these reports of the Taliban killing 8 children and throwing acid in people's faces. I mean, I have a hard time grasping this simply because I couldn't imagine any political party in this country attacking its own citizens while it's being occupied and defending its nation against from occupation.
I have personally heard from soldiers that knew people that I know and heard from them the atrocities committed by the Taliban on the ground level. And even from other Muslims that are so against the atrocities of the Taliban. So I wouldn't give them the benefit of the doubt from that point of view.
But is
I don't believe you just go in there and be indiscriminate toward people. You don't take people. You don't torture them for fun. I don't believe in that.
But we
They
have.
are human beings,
But we have.
and that's another issue. Have we? That's another issue. You turn them
we
over to
have.
their own authorities, and again, it
We
comes
turn them
down
over
to
get tortured by their own authorities.
okay. So we go there and we throw ourselves and tell them how to run the place. You hear criticism about us going there, taking over people's system. So on one hand, you hear those criticisms, and on the other hand, we're being told, well, go over there and change things. So this argument can go outside the scope, which is already gone, of what we're talking about. But the thing is, do we really prosecute a soldier on the ground level for second-degree murder over this Taliban fighter?
Christine, to my mind, the first question is, should soldiers be there? If people in Afghanistan actually pose a threat to Canada, the answer is yes.
But that's not even the question that we're discussing here.
But if the answer is no, they don't pose a threat, they simply have a lot of strife over there with fighting forces and lots of evil conduct, I say, sucks to be you. Get the Canadians back.
There you go.
Now, if the Canadians are there, then I have to assume that our government knows that somebody in Afghanistan poses a threat to Canada. If not, bring the soldiers back. But if there's a threat, the sole role for that soldier is to kill the enemy, period. And therefore, there should be no due process and etc. His job is to kill the guy that shot at him.
You got a point.
He shouldn't be on trial.
You got a point. Imagine being a soldier, now facing, you don't know if your own government's going to come and prosecute you. We're going to go for a break now. When we come back, we'll get straight to you on the phone lines. Don't go away. Hello again, and welcome back to Viewpoints on the Line. We're going to go straight to you on the phone lines now. Leonard on line 8. Hi, Leonard. You're on the line.
Hi, how are you today?
Fine, thank you.
I was going to comment on proroguing the government,
That's fine.
but now when you're on the other topic...
No,
with
that's
the
no problem, Leonard. Go ahead.
Okay, now the Taliban, we must remember where they came from and what they represent and what sect that they follow and what they've done to the people of Afghanistan, and that the Canadians were invited. We didn't invade. And I think it's ridiculous, being a former member of the Canadian military myself, that somebody in a war zone should be charged with murder. It is ridiculous that the government would even let this happen. That's my comment. Thank you.
I thank you for calling in. And there is a website supporting, I don't know what that website is, but
Facebook.
There are people that feel exactly like you, Leonard, and they're supporting this fellow, because it does strike me as odd that this guy's up on charges
Especially
for killing in a war zone. It's weird.
Just finished spraying the whole area and killing someone.
Wow. Thanks for calling in, Leonard. Eleanor on line 4. Hi, Eleanor. You're on the line. Go ahead, Eleanor.
Okay, I just wanted to comment on that military man being charged. I think it's just a disgrace to our military that that's even happening. It shouldn't be happening, because that's what they're there for, and they're there to support us.
Yes. Eleanor, thanks for that call. I just can't imagine what this guy's feeling.
I think it's a great thing, because you know why? It means that our military brass are conscious about the conduct of their soldiers out in the field. So I think it's a great thing.
After the Somali incident?
You know, if he's
that came up
innocent,
years
he
ago?
will come out innocent, and I really have a lot of faith in that.
You have faith in that?
I do
Okay,
now.
maybe
I
that's
didn't
the
before,
hope.
but now I do.
Maybe that's the hope of it all? Okay.
You
had a point there, I know it.
Well, I was just going to say, I think it's absurd that in this situation, the Canadian captain and his troop pulled back so that Americans could come in and strafe the entire area, killing everyone in sight. that it only killed one person and it injured the guy in question. And now we don't criticize the attack helicopter for killing the one fella, but we do criticize our own soldier for finishing the job. Ridiculous. And that's what the job of the helicopter was. That's what the job of the captain and his troop were. He did a good job. He deserves a medal, not a trial.
But also, I mean, let's look at it this way. At least it's making our
You're talking
our
accountability.
soldiers, yeah, it's making them accountable, and they're going to think it next time they go in and start blasting away. I mean, we've really got to be conscious objectors when we go to other.
But we still, and it's not always easy, but we still need to know where to draw a line. And was this really the time to do it in this particular scenario? With, according to what we have here, one witness when they were ambushed. Is this really the scenario? I mean, we've had violations in the past.
What if we didn't do anything and this information came to light? Then there would be a huge outcry. So, I mean, this is just a democratic process, and it's
you think it's a democratic process or a politicized one now at this point? Because that was the suggestion made here.
You could
that
go
it's being
either way with
politicized.
it.
Yeah, you can go either way. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. What's the agenda?
Yeah, I think this is a politicized military. It shouldn't be politicized. There should be a wall between sound military decisions and what some wussified media want to say about some soldier in the field. To heck with the media. To heck what they think. To heck what the average wussy in the field in Canada thinks. This soldier did his job.
No way. Come on.
This soldier.
I don't want our soldiers there killing indiscriminately.
It's a democracy, fellows.
He did his job, and he gets a pat on the back from me. That's all I can say.
Okay.